estimate pickup. Come on, mate, come on!
How you doing?
I'm back.
Doug Hansen.
What do you do when you're not climbing, Doug?
I deliver the mail.
First mailman on Everest?
Hope so.
I like that.
I know there's a lot of mountaineering experience in this room. You wouldn't be here without it.
But Everest is the most dangerous place on Earth.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Akil bin Hussein from class 2 second semester. I hope all of you are in healthy and always in bless of Allah. Today, my team and I will present a review based on a movie titled Everest 2015. First thing first, I will talk about the movie background and introduction. Everest is a movie that launched on 2015. The movie was a historical and adventure film directed by and produced by Baltasar Kormákur and written by William Nicholson and Simon Wifoy. Baltasar Kormákur is an Icelandic actor, theatre and film director and film producer, while William Nicholson is a British screenwriter, playwright and novelist who has been nominated twice for an Oscar. The duration of the movie is not too long and too short, 121 minutes or just 2 hours. It stars an assembled cast of Jason Clarke, Jake Gyllenhaal, Josh Brolin, John Hawkes, Robin Wright, and others. Those people are very helpful in making this film. For your information, this movie is actually based on the real event of the 1996 Mount Everest disaster. The 1996 Mount Everest disaster is occurred on 10 until 11 May 1996, when 8 climbers caught in a blizzard died on Mount Everest while attempting to descend from the summit. Over the entire season, 12 people died trying to reach the summit. The survival attempts of 2 expedition groups, one led by Rob Hall as a Clarke and the others by Scott Fisher as a Gyllenhaal. As information, Robert Edwin Hall was a New Zealand mountaineer, born in 14 January 1961. He was the head guide of a 1996 Mount Everest expedition, during which he, a fellow guide, and 2 clients died. While Scott Egon Fisher, born on 24 December 1955, he was an American mountaineer and mountain guide. He was renowned for his ascent of the world's highest mountain made, without any of supplemental oxygen. The budget for the movie is $55 million and get back $203.4 million in box office, $43.4 million from North America, and $159.9 million in other territories. The movie get back positive response from people and get high rates for the movie. So that's all for the opening for this review. From my opinion, this movie was so good and suitable for any ages. Moreover, the movie has a nice plot and many of moral value that can relate in our life. But all of that will be highlighted by my beloved teammates.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Muhammad Nur Arif bin Nasaruddin from class 2 Diploma Tahfiz Al-Quran wal Qiraat. I would like to deliver the plot of Everest 2015. In May 1996, several commercial expeditions at the base camp of Mount Everest prepare to climb to the summit. Rob Hall, who popularized commercial Everest missions, leads adventure consultants. Scott Fisher is the chief guide for its rival Mountains Maintenance. Rob's clients include backwatters, an experienced climber. Doug Hassan, a former mailman pursuing his dream. Climbing veteran Yasuko Namba, who hopes to complete her final 7 summit ascent, and outside magazine journalist John Cracker. Helen Wilton, manager Rob's bus camp. A month early in New Zealand, Rob says goodbye to his pregnant wife, Jen, and promises that he will be home for the birth and the base camp. Rob received a fax from her, informing him that their unborn baby is a girl. He wants to name her Sarah, but Jen disagrees. Worried about climber crowding, Rob persuades Scott to cooperate to reduce delays. On the summit attempt, Rob's group departs from camp before dawn, planning to complete the ascent and begin descending by 2 p.m. The latest safe time to ensure return before nightfall. The group is delayed by over an hour after discovering that guide ropes are not installed on the upper ridge for the climb. Beck has inset problems and stops. Rob tells him to return to base camp if his condition does not improve in half hour. Scott hurries Doug to camp to help another climber, but plans to resist. Rob warns him about overexertion. Rob reaches the summit on time and is joined by other climbers including Yasuko, who jubilantly plants her Japanese flag. Descending, Rob encounters Doug struggling to ascend just above the Hillary step and order him to descend. Doug insists on continuing, saying that he will not get the chance again. Rob reluctantly agrees and they reach the summit 2 hours later. Well past the safe return time, Doug is exhausted and suffering from altitude sickness. With them is Scott, exhausted and ill from high altitude pulmonary edema. As Rob helps Doug descend, a blizzard stickers while Doug's oxygen tank is empty, causing him to suffer hypoxia. No extra bottles are stored on the road as Rob asks, and he reduces Helen to send some oxygen. Doug, left briefly by Rob, semi-consciously detached himself from the guide Rob and walks unsteadily along the narrow path, then suddenly topples to his death. Scott's condition worsens. He tells him fellow climbers to continue descending without him. He lies down a later dies. Descending climbers reach back, whose vision remains impaired, but they all become lost as the blizzard obliterates the trail. Three climbers go for help, leaving Beth and Yasuko. Guide Andy Harold Harris research Rob will spare oxygen, but the cylinder aperture is frozen shut. They huddle together in the storm. While Rob sleeps, Andy begins to have hallucination. He then strips off his outer clothing and slides to his death. In the morning, Rob rodeos Helen that Doug and Eddie are gone and that his extremities are frozen. Helen calls Jen, hoping that Rob will respond to her voice. Jen tells Rob that he must stop moving. Rob tells her that he is cold but comfortable and asks her to name their baby Sarah, dying soon afterwards. Returning climbers tell the camp that Beck and Nesuko are stranded. The weather, however, makes an rescue impossible. Helen calls Beck's wife, Peach, and informs for the situation. In the morning, Beck miraculously and awakens. She sees that Yasuko is dead and stumbles down to camp alone, severely frostbitten and in need of medical help. Peach called the American embassy and organized a helicopter rescue. Nepal Army pilot Lieutenant Colonel Madan Chatri flies a high-altitude mission to take Beck to hospital. Meanwhile, one of Scott's guides, Anatoly, finds his body and moves in off the trail. Returning home, Helen has an emotional reunion with Jen, who later gives birth successfully and names her daughter Sarah. Beck returns to his family, heavily bandaged. Closing titles reveal that he lost both hands and nose to frostbite, and that Rob's body remains on Everest. Thank you from me.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Arif Arshad bin Husairi, and based on the movie that I already watched, that is Everest, I think the movie is very inspiring because it was based on the true story of an exceedingly ill-fated trek up the title mountain in 1996. This movie portrays the detailed and realistic depiction of climbers of various experiences facing the worst possible condition at heights and climates that seem designed to shut a human body down. Besides, this movie are inspiring by the incredible events surrounding a treacherous attempt to reach the summit of the world's highest mountain. Everest document the awe-inspiring journey of through different expeditions, challenged beyond their limits by one of the fiercest snowstorms ever encountered by mankind. Their mettle tested by the harshest of elements found on the planet. The climbers will face nearly impossible obstacles as a lifelong obsession becomes a breathtaking struggle for survival. Next, there are some moral values that I found in the Everest movie. Firstly, we should obey the rules and follow instruction. For instance, these are there for obvious reasons, and disregarding them could end up in a disaster. One of the leaders decided to give in one of the climbers' requests to climb to the summit even after an hour later, claiming that he would not able to do it again, and later he and that climber was died. It was right, he had empathy. It was wrong that he disobeyed his rules and he let that guy climb, which cost both their life. It is not bad thing to have empathy, but always have to obey the rules. Not sticking to it could take the organization to a really bad position, which would be really hard to avoid back. Secondly, we must have a guided Everest climb. For example, when John Krakauer was hired by Outside magazine to do a story about a climb to Everest base camp, he became so interested in the idea of summiting Everest that he decided to become a serious mountain climber once again. It took him about a year to get back into shape for the dangerous stride all the way to the summit. It is interesting to think about how much attention the tragedy would have received had it not been for Krakauer's best-selling account of it in the book Into Thin Air. It is through Krakauer's eyes that many people were initially able to find out about the events of May 1996. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi, my name is Muhammad Hairi bin Mat Yunus. Now I will continue the movie review in the hadith section. After watching this video entitled Everest, I have got a hadith narrated by the Prophet Muhammad related to this movie. Prophet Muhammad SAW has said, meaning you must be obedient and faithful, whether in a difficult or happy situation, love or grief, and even harm your interest. Historical hadith, Muslim. From this hadith, we can see that the importance of obedience to the leader is a very big thing. An example from this movie is when a character named Dove is struggling to climb right above Hillary's step. His boss Rob ordered the Dove down. Dove insists on continuing, saying that he will not get the chance again. As a result, Dove fatigued and suffering from height pain. Then a snowstorm struck and finally Dove dead without a trace. And the second is a verse from Quran. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Wa ta'awanu 'alal birri wat taqwa wa la ta'awanu 'alal itsmi wal 'udwan. And help one another is goodness and pity, and do not help one another in committing sins and transgression. This verse relate when Fish called the American embassy and arranged a helicopter rescue. This is all the presentation from me about hadith and verse of the Quran. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Aiman bin Arifin from class 1, first semester. First for all, the value I get in the story is to help fellow students. When we sit in a learning environment, should have a self in us, because if there are a handful of friends who have problem, we can help to advise him, which we can advise right. When we see our friends do something wrong, we should reprimand. Therefore, as a student and friends, we need to share the knowledge we understand to other friends. In a learning, we cannot be stingy with knowledge because there will also be success for us, inshallah. The second value, I can tell you again, is students need to be serious and disciplined. Students must also diligently read books and do homework. Students must also be diligent in reviewing lessons, especially when it comes to exam. Students also need to practice the value complying with school rules is to enable students to learn well. Okay, so let's we go to the next point, which is preparation for exam. First, provide a suitable study space. Second, check the schedule. Then next point is explain the answer to others and have a study groups. Last point is planning exam preparation and do a lot of research. Sorry, that's all I can explain. Hope accept my explanation and use it. Thank you so much to my friends for watching my video. Assalamualaikum.